primed and ready to force a game number 3, Cinderin.
23 Savage having a bit of an identity crisis, saying, I'm not scared, bro, I'm Cuckoo. No, sir, Cuckoo is your teammate on Earthshaker who died before you, trying to find a kill on a Weaver.
Yeah, GG's going to be called.
Yeah.
It is
nice game from Vici Gaming.
So difficult to play into Weaver, Aghanim, Scepter. I mean, they had to kill Cuckoo several times over, but they did so regardless. And T1 now potentially, I mean, they're both on the brink of elimination, technically speaking, Cinderin.
Loving the adjustments from Vici Gaming this game. I really think they got a much better game. The key part for me, even though Ori got ganked a bit, again, the tables were turned in the game from the get-go, right? He's winning his lane, he's forcing the rotations onto him from the enemy team, and it just opens up for both the Beastmaster to maybe get a better game than you could have expected, especially both Faceless Void and Weaver crushing the bottom lane as well. As a result of that, to just end up getting so many victories across the map. And that really, to me, is one of the key parts in Vici Gaming's lineup. Just both drafts are great, but ultimately Vici Gaming come out ahead with that awesome team fight, and of course the Weaver save to close it out in the end. But yeah, what a nice game. Honestly feels like Game 3 is anyone's game. These two teams are very evenly matched. This game was close a lot of the way. So.
That's right, Cinderin. Very well said. My goodness, you are such a good analyst. I'm so lucky to be right next to you right now. But game number 2 is over, so let's see what the panel has to say about this as we head to a Game 3 very soon.
Vici Gaming has taken game number 2, forcing us to have a Game 3. And one of the things that both Cinderin and Sunspan were saying was that Vici Gaming really shaped up that in this last game, and they had a lot of control. So tell me what they did. How did they shape up AUI?
I think it was a control on top of having the heroes too. I mean, it's not like they pushed the tempo, but
Itu apa namanya?
To help me because I completely blanked out.
I'll tell you what
I'm sorry.
It's all my boyo-yo, po-yo-yo. That Faceless Void itemization was top tier. I think him going for a more tanky-oriented build was probably the solution, because I think generally if there's a Lina in the backlines, then you don't need to worry about damage yourself. You just need to worry about the initiation. You just need to worry about surviving Dawnbreaker Solar Guardian. And so he was able to pull that off. Lina was chucking the fireballs in. It was a good 1-2 punch from Vici Gaming.
Yeah, I feel like for me, these two teams, what I learned from watching Game 2 is I feel like neither of them really have a good way of shutting each other down. And I think when you have the heroes that are enabled by that in the early game, which I feel like Vici had more of this game, their heroes scale nicely against T1s. The team that is going to get that condition on their side is favored. And that's what I feel like this Game 2 was.
To be honest, I know Carl, like I was looking it up, his most played hero in competitive is actually DK. But I don't think it suits what T1 want to do this patch. Like when I think of Carl in this tournament so far, he's had some Lina getting Omega farms to farm house, some Doom with Midas. When I play pubs with him, he would go Midas on Queen of Pain and scale like a monster. Like if they look at their matchup versus Vici, I think they should go for what's already sort of a style and sort of commit to it.
Yeah, I mean, I assume if we can see it here on the panel, they'll figure it out too, right? You've had 2 games now, you got to see the outcome of these different types of games, and then for Game 3, I would imagine it's going to be a scale war. Who can scale up the hardest, who can get the timings, who can get the matchups, and then because I feel like once the teams hit their timings, they're both really good at using it. And that's why you see these like really tight team fights, and you see these like potential comebacks coming into the games, and where the game swings back into their favor.
Would you say that this was a close match? Like if you were to look at that stat screen, it's very hard to tell who the definite winner is, right? It seemed like it was going back and forth a little bit with all those team fights.
Yeah, I'd say it was pretty close. I think like a different team in those drafts, like I think either draft could have won. But for these 2 teams in particular, I think Vici ended up pretty dominant.
Yeah.
I think in particular, I think like Beastmaster's vision that game with all the suns, like it just lets you play your map better.
Yeah, I think Beastmaster, if you can get him past the laning phase with a decent game, and they definitely did this time, you're just setting yourself up for success because you're controlling a lot of map space with a Hawk. You have a BKB piercing stun. And why that is important is because as the game scales up, people start buying BKBs, and one of the biggest struggles that you have is if you're not able to kill a hero, then you have to ignore it, and it's 9 seconds of free damage. But when you have the Roar, whoever's BKB'd still has to keep his positioning in mind, and I think, I mean, Old 11 played this game amazingly. I think he really, really shined on that Beastmaster.
So these stats are up, but for someone at home who may not know if 227 last hits and 557 experience per minute is a high number, can you just kind of explain these stats? Like, are they good? Are they average? Are they TI average? Or what are your thoughts on them?
It can be relative to the length of the game, so the per minute stats are always a little bit tricky depending on how you look at it. From Old 11's typical offlane performances, I don't really consider him to be as greedy as Cuckoo, who's on T1 right now. Old 11 is a little bit more sacrificial. Generally, offlaners right now are all edging on the greedier side these days. Old 11 still less so on the spectrum compared to Cuckoo, but these numbers are more reflective on how dominant Vici Gaming were across the map. I know AUI, you were noticing like it's been 30 minutes and they're only just now taking the mid-tier 1 tower. The fact that he was able to
find tier 1 at 34 minutes when they were winning the game. Like they're up 9k at 34 minutes before they took the tier 1.
And in comparison, Cuckoo has a surprising number of last hits on an Earthshaker in a losing game from an offlane position. And again, I think that's a testament to how he's typically more of a greedy offlaner.
Yeah, and you just look at the stats, right? You had a 3-1-9 Beastmaster, so he's only died for about like 20 seconds of that game. He was playing most of it, whereas Cuckoo has 6 deaths, and he's keeping up like fairly well in CS. So that's just
considering the 2 heroes, right?
Right,
Beastmaster
as well.
just kills more creeps. You have a board to push out waves.
Precisely.
It's very interesting to see these comparisons because the game is really complicated. Like I've said it so many times, the game is so complicated. The numbers are there, but it really matters like what heroes are picked, how long the game went. Oh gosh, trying to wrap my head around it is pretty confusing. But now we have 1-1, right? And Vici Gaming has managed to tie it up, and now both teams are potentially facing this elimination, right? And the winner will go on to guarantee themselves 5th or 6th place. So it's really important for these teams to reset, like we mentioned earlier. And like Vici Gaming said, they want, like the last time that this happened, they didn't do well in their next game. Now, on the other hand, what can T1 do to really reset this? Do they need to change up their strategy a little bit? Aiden, you mentioned earlier that they needed to break out of their comfort zone. Do they return back or do they keep going out?
I thought going into this series that if Vici didn't break out of the comfort zone, it would be very, very hard for them because I thought T1 was better at basically I felt like both teams do the same thing, but T1 does it better. But I think proven by the second game, you know what? Vici actually can stand their ground in playing like the slow game or whatever you want to call it, the patient game. For me, I feel like if I was in either draft position and I was like looking at it objectively, I'd say we both are going to just have to try to outscale each other. And when two teams are trying to outscale each other, it comes down a lot to the matchups and what kind of timings you can hit in the game. Because you want to hit a timing that's usually slightly later than your opponents, but stronger. So if they're aiming for like an 18-minute timing, we want to hit a timing at 19. So like our timing comes later, but it's slightly stronger than theirs.
That's so specific. To go 1 minute later in timing, how do you figure that out?
That's extremely difficult, and I think it's one of the hardest parts of drafting.
I think it's all about like Dota's like a relative game, right? Like,
Right.
You talk about these timings, you talk about team fight, anything really. If you can do it just slightly better than your opponent, or you have slightly more of it, you just have all of it more than your opponent. And I think I agree with Insania. That's what's going to happen this game. I think there's like a choice to be made here. Like, do you double down on this slower pace of Dota, scaling team fight late game comps, or do you try to like throw a fast one and just like go all in with a strategy? Like, oh, they're gonna have an 18-minute timing. We're gonna go at 10 minutes. You're not even gonna make it to your timing. But I don't think either of the teams will actually do that. I think they're just gonna double down.
I say I want to see them split the average. I want to see T1 split the average. I want Carl not on a DK type hero. I want him to carry the baton early on for early to mid game timings. And I don't want 23 Savage on a mid game hero like Monkey King. I want him on the scaling core. I want him to be able to be the late game insurance that T1 might need. And then Cuckoo, Zephyr, and Whitemon can help out accordingly. I imagine Cuckoo, being as greedy as he is, will edge more late game. So let Whitemon and Zephyr play with Carl earlier on.
You mentioned Monkey King, and when I think about it, Monkey King is one of like the most picked, most banned, like most contested hero, right? So if they don't give Monkey King, or if they don't pick it, would they ban it because he's been so strong in multiple positions?
He's been strong in multiple positions, and it's a Poyoyo favorite as well.
Right.
So I think targeting it earlier on. I don't remember what the first phase bans were in this game number 2.
From Vici?
Yeah, from Vici.
Trent West.
Trent Wisp, okay. And then T1 banned out what?
Tiny
and oof.
Was
I
it
don't
Tide
remember.
or Tiny?
I don't
tiny
remember.
+1.
I don't think Doom was banned in the first phase.
No, I don't think so either.
And yet T1 didn't pick it, which was strange. But
Yeah, I think T1 should. I mean, that's the ultimate scale, right?
Exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Please finish your point.
no, that's exactly what my point was.
So what your point was is that they should have picked Doom.
Oh, yeah.
But why?
Because the Carl signature. I need to
Well,
see Carl operate.
Yeah.
It's about the gold, right? Like
Right.
if both teams are playing this slow, methodical style, Doom he literally creates gold from nowhere.
Right.
Like usually you're limited on your map resources and you assign farm to different heroes. As you know,
Right.
the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 system is how much farm you're supposed to accumulate on each player. But there are heroes that break that, like Alchemist or Doom, who just create gold out of nowhere. And if the game is slow, you're just getting more than your opponent.
So on the other hand, you mentioned both Alchemist and Doom. Why not Alchemist? I'm trying to run through the mind of draft.
I think it's very, for me, it breaks down to this. If you have two teams that both want to sit on their own sides of the map,
Yep.
then there's only so many camps, right?
Right.
If you think about a team like OG, they'll invade the other side of the map and they'll take camps away from you and take them to their own side. So they're basically increasing their size of the map that they are farming. I think for these two teams, since neither of them are very willing to do it, they'll do it when the timing's right, but generally speaking, they will try to avoid it. Items like Hand of Midas, they're increasing the gold that you get from your side of the map. And Doom's Devourer does a very similar thing because you're just getting bonus gold every 60 seconds or whenever you finish devouring that creep. So for that reason, I feel like it's going to be a strong hero for the series. Plus his ultimate scales up very well into any game. So it's just, it feels like the right hero for T1. If I was Vici, I'd be really scared about going up against it.
So one of the things that I've heard you guys mention a lot is Midas. Jenkins mentioned it earlier that Midas, Vici Gaming is a Midas fan. How has Midas been doing in this meta? How's it been doing in this tournament?
I don't have the stats on it, but I would imagine it's not been very popular among the other teams. But I think specifically for this series, and this is why TI is such a cool tournament, because you can look at two teams and be like, hey, the meta doesn't actually matter here. This is just about the styles of these two specific teams and how they've done. And you've had so many games to watch because they've been playing forever. Like there's so many games of like data to look at and be like, okay, this is the way they're going to approach this. Most likely, they're going to approach this game in this set way. And suddenly, an item that probably isn't that popular becomes very, very good for this specific series.
Do you think that Vici Gaming had any modifications to their gameplay against EG? Because coming into it, I thought that for sure EG were favorites, considering the two stylistic differences. I thought that EG lane mechanics superiority would prove to be too difficult for Vici to deal with.
I felt like during I think it was first day of main event or maybe second day, I felt like taking control was the most important part of the game. But then Secret showed that you don't have to do it.
That's right.
And that kind of, for me at least, broke up the meta. And I feel like ever since then, the teams that are hitting slightly later timings, I feel like are having an edge, or the teams that have a very, very good answer to what it is you're trying to bring to the table.
All right, Tsunami. We have two teams that are facing elimination right now. Can you drum me up like a nice narrative for this match?
I like how you asked the one person who hasn't played at a TI to do it, but sure, I can give you the...
But you have the emotion.
That's true.
I want to hear the storytelling voice from a man who's dressed like a video game character.
Listen, it's Friday night, all right, and I wanted to celebrate the occasion. Exactly. Southeast Asia versus China. I know for T1 specifically, immense amount of pressure for their entire region right now. At least Vici Gaming, I'm sure they're still intra-regionally competitive, but China as a whole has been aching for a TI for years, since TI 6 by now. That's true.
I
TI
want
2020, no one really knew which region was the best. Everyone was just assuming that Europe was leaps and bounds above everyone in terms of competitive mechanics and strength and stuff like that. And then as the DPC rolled around, we saw China and Singapore and Kyiv.
Right.
Now someone needs to solidify it here in Bucharest to really make this China's year. T1 are looking to make the highest placement for a Southeast Asian team since I think a Fnatic from TI 4 or 5. And so I think just in terms of the regional pride, that's what I'm most excited about between these two teams. Facing elimination, that's just another day at the office here at TI. You're going to have to do it anyway.
Another day at the
Another
office
day at the
here
office.
at TI. Now, we don't have any draft yet, but I want to know which team you three each have for taking this series. And I know that that's very hard because there's no draft, but I would like to know anyway.
I think coming into the series, I would have given T1 the edge. I think the way that they approached Dota is, in my opinion, it felt strong against Vici's playstyle. But I I feel like based on game 2, I think Vici might have something good cooking, and I feel like they kind of understand what it is they need to do in order to win the series. So I'm just gonna make it very political. I think if Doom is picked by T1, I think they have a great shot at winning this. But I think this is a really, really close series, and the picks are gonna matter a lot.
Very diplomatic answer, Tsunami.
I would have been the opposite. I think coming into the Vici EG series, if I hadn't seen that, then I would be like, I don't think Vici has what it takes to be a game 3 winner. But after seeing that, I see that they are willing to adapt, and I don't know if T1's been tested as much as Vici has quite yet. So I think Vici's got this for game 3.
For myself, I also thought T1 was going to take this series. Actually pretty easily, to be honest, coming in. But they were covering one of TI losses with Vici. I feel like they've learned a lot from that experience, and they'll bring it into this game 3.
We will see what happens in this game 3 right now.
BG Gaming versus T1 Game 3.
Welcome to game number 3 between Vici and T1. Before we start with the draft and we present the panel, I'd like to apologize for a production error because we thought we'd give Insania a chair to sit on, but it was actually a fence. So we're sorry about that last segment. Jenkins and Effie are here with me. What can you tell me about last game, Jenkins?
I can tell you that that was a great Vici Gaming draft. I liked it a lot. In the draft, it's good to know that you're not that stupid because they... Well, I'm just saying,
what are you saying?
Not you, me. I'm saying, I had this idea that it was going to be a really easy game for them to execute.
All right, yeah.
I thought that they had all of their bases kind of covered, and it looked fairly easy. I mean, I hate to say it against T1, but it really did look like, cut and clean. That's what they say.
What about you, Effie?
I think the Lina versus Dragon Knight and Monkey King just had a really great game, honestly. It's like what we predicted. The longer it went on, just the more items she would get, and she just naturally does so much damage, especially when she had the ET to amp her up and the Weaver insects. So.
Damn, they first phase banned the Lina, too.
And they got the Tiny as well, and then they have to give up the Magnus. So, in terms of strong heroes as TI, Magnus or... Oh, wow, Magnus and Tide.
Oh, boy.
So Magnus or Tiny, Jenkins, what would you lean towards?
Oh, 100% Magnus. This is the most OP character in the entire game currently. I wouldn't pick it in pubs necessarily. I totally agree with what Saberlight was saying, that it's like a TI specialty. BKB piercing, team fighting, that's all stuff you want during TI. And the repositioning element is just, it's absurd. I mean, we've seen like numerous fountain skewers that literally knocked OG out. Was fountain skewers.
Yeah, actually.
I mean, it's insane. You probably shouldn't be able to do that. Play Magnus while you can.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Play it while you can. Get your MMR. Anyway, the opener and T1, these are both really strong and contested heroes, but we pretty much know that Tidehunter is a support now, right? And while he can be effective, he has to be paired up with a strong lane to make it so that the pick is kind of worth it at this point, because it can be a little bit redundant, but I hope they pair it up with something to amplify it. And I say that it's pretty much a support at this point because there's no way between a Magnus and a Tide you assign the farm priority to Tide, because we've seen how effective Magnus can be in the hands of players who play him well, such as Collapse, who we've been singing his praises for all day.
Could we see it as a Coral hero, perhaps, or then see the Tide in the offlane still?
We could. But you're just showing 2 cores in your first phase, and that's not really ideal, I would say.
Okay.
So the safest bet would to say that it's a support Tide. But the option is always open, and that's the nice thing about having flexible heroes in your first phase. You can go where you need them to go. On the flip side, Vici Gaming's heroes, Tiny, incredible carry. He hits his timing so quickly, and he can honestly feel like the strongest hero on the map, especially when it comes to hitting buildings. They die so quickly. And Monkey King, we've talked about so many times before in this tournament why he's so potent, but just the vision game is so strong, and he's flexed to all 5 roles, actually.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Jenkins. I know we're both fans of Vici, but one of the criticisms this team has gotten is that sometimes they take a bit too long to adapt to a patch, right? And right now I'm seeing group stage meta versus playoffs meta, essentially. Yeah. Do you think this is the case again, or do you think there's something magical about these picks?
No, I mean, I feel like Vici's done in both the series that I've recently watched the EG series and then this one. They're showing me that they are very quick at adapting. I thought the Omni Knight pick was kind of crazy. I also thought that they needed to pick something fresh and new against T1, and then in game 2 it's like, well, okay, that didn't work out, so that's obviously not right. And then game 2 they changed that around. They didn't pick anything too crazy. It was a bit of a different style, but it worked out. And so I feel like Vici's just what they said in the interview about having pocket picks and not having to reveal all of their heroes, it actually did turn out to be true for them.
And sure, you can say group stage meta versus playoff meta, but the reason why Tiny hasn't been that prevalent in the main event is just because he's been banned out so much. So I really do still think this is the strongest carry in the game, and if you can get your hands on him, you should.
We saw it on OG actually, where there was a moment, I will never forget that play because I think it's ridiculous, where Samael was alone and there were 4 heroes around him, and they decided the best option was to retreat.
To run away from him, yeah.
So Enchantress is kind of rising up a little bit throughout today, but it's because she was picked up against an Omni Knight, which makes her all the more valuable. But in terms of laning, Enchantress is incredibly strong against Monkey King because you can dispel the Jingu stacks, but also you can just get a creep and whack away at him, right? Ideally, you don't want this Monkey King to play on Tide's lane, so just have the Enchantress follow him.
Yeah, true. Even if it's a 5 position, you can still put your 5 in the off lane. Even if you're not giving a farm priority, you can do that just to like win the Monkey King lane, which would make me think that the Monkey King will probably end up being a support. But then there's another way that you could go with that, where you just say, okay, it's a core, but you're just not going to level Jingu. You're just going to play to like push out the creep wave, which I imagine would just depend on what T1 picks. Like if you're playing against Tide as Monkey King, you probably
that's an Ori hero we haven't seen in a while.
They said they had other heroes. Other teams just haven't beat their initial heroes first, right? And we're seeing the Shadow Fiend. But just to quickly touch on the Disruptor, he's such a good hero versus Tidehunter because you just drop Static Storm on him and he can't really dispel anything, he dies. And he's a very good catch. Also, if Magnus finds a good RP and Disruptor isn't in it, he can drop the Static Storm on top of him and stop the skewer back, which is always really nice, right? And obviously Disruptor, one of the best catches in the game.
Same with Horn Toss as well.
Yeah, I agree. Horn Toss is a great ability.
No, I mean like same with Horn Toss, the Static Storm point. Like, you don't need to RP anymore. You can just Horn Toss. That still takes a second. You can drop Static Storm.
Yeah, true. Yeah, the Disruptor can. You just looked at me when you said Horn Toss is all. I like Shadow Fiend. I think Shadow Fiend's an underrated hero, in my opinion. Because the minus armor right-clicking build only started like a month or so in pubs prior to TI, and obviously like there was the occasional, like at some point there was like drums SF, but I mean like this one where you're going for Daedalus, where you're like trying to one-shot people essentially, where you're playing with like the Dragonlance, the Satanic, essentially playing like a Lina, and I think that style of SF fits this meta, and for a long time people have been doing like the Yule's Blink stuff, which it's cool and it's flashy, but it never works out. It never works out.
I agree.
Shadow Fiend is a hit or miss hero, and I know some people in particular, if they see him, they say, I will not root for this draft, right? But think about it in the bigger picture. Like right now, do they have the damage to take down Shadow Fiend? Not really, and they're gonna have to correct that, right? Because Magnus, sure, he can blink on him and skewer him back, but Tide support and Ench support aren't really going to kill him. So I think maybe we could see something like a Leshrac come out of T1 just to correct the damage issues and play on these big cooldowns. But also, because of Shadow Fiend's enjoyment of buying Silver Edge, he will enjoy Tidehunter and Enchantress, right? Right-click them, kill him. Simple as that. Batrider's that damage hero we were talking about.
I want to point out that Cuckoo was revered for ages as being one of the best Batriders in SCA, if not the best. Carl was also considered that. They have 2 of the best Batrider players in SCA in this team.
Agreed, and actually, Carl was playing Batrider when nobody was playing Batrider, right? Do you remember that DK patch? And some people would say, hey, this looks like a good Bat game, and they'd play it and they'd lose, and they said, okay, this hero is not good.
I remember that. That was rough.
Until he got buffed a few patches later and was a monster, and then he got nerfed again. But Carl believed in the hero from the get-go, and
he won.
He would always try to go for the Batrider games whenever he could, so. This is a comfort pick for sure. And he does function similarly to Leshrac in that that's the damage we were talking about. They really need to fix it. But I think they still need a little bit more damage.
This is like the perfect Batrider game, and every single time I say that, I jinx it, and then the Batrider just gets horribly owned. So That was at the Animajor. This is TI. It's just maybe going to be different.
With disruptors on most.
Yeah, he can't.
Well, that I was going to say, following that, but I don't think that's what makes Batrider good anymore. I think that's an old-fashioned way of thinking about Batrider. The way you play Batrider now is you get Boots of Travel, you get BKB second item. People don't even go for Blink Dagger anymore on Batrider oftentimes. It'll be like Octarine Core, Shiva's Guard, things like that, even like an early refresher. And it's all about just doing tons of damage, and he's one of the few heroes. Have you ever played Tiny versus Batrider? He doesn't care that you exist. He doesn't care that you have 3,000 HP because Batrider, it doesn't matter. You need like magic resistance to deal with the Batrider, and you don't get that on a tiny carry.
True, and if you just want to look at the laning picture, just Batrider should have such an easy time versus Shadow Fiend. And you know, Monkey King support has to set up on trees and side lanes, right? That's typically how you fight the hero. You look for that good opportunity, you give vision, you drop the Wukongs. But Batrider's just going to break through
It's
all
a hard
those
counter.
trees.
It's a hard counter. Yeah, 100%.
It functions similarly to Dawn that we've seen being picked against Monkey King, and just you just throw the hammer and all the trees are gone. So looking rough for our boy Monkey King.
Yeah,
here.
this is like arguably the worst Monkey King game, at least that I've seen in this tournament, because you have the Enchantress. If you're playing a core Monkey King, you have the Enchantress to purge the Jingu, and then if you're playing a support Monkey King in the trees, you have a Batrider that's just going to break you off of the trees and kill you. And you can. The thing with Monkey King is like, the way that you play it is you sit in side lanes and then you push waves out. But Batrider builds Boots of Travels. He's literally one of the best heroes in the game at killing people who are sitting in side lanes. Like, you cannot play that style of Monkey King versus a Batrider. You can't play. It's really rough.
Last pick, Vengeful Spirit, which I'm assuming, judging by the draft, it's an off-lane Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah, so the first thing that you can see here is you swap and you save the last hit target, which is incredibly valuable. And there's also that extra minus armor that they're going for with this SF, and of course the Tiny is going to benefit from it as well. My issue with VS is just she's going to need to have a good start, right? But so far, like, you look at these two supports, Tide and Enchantress, and they're not that scary. They're just... Enchantress is very strong on lane, but Tide is a Ravage, basically. So she should have an okay time.
I agree with that, and I feel like that's why they're going to put Tide off lane, Mag mid, or Mag carry, and then... Just kidding. Nope. Okay, just kidding. Okay, that is a Tide support. Or Magnus support.
I don't think you want support Mag at all. Like,
Zephyr
that hero needs farm priority. Okay,
I mean, I'm just guessing.
Jenkins. So 23 Savage, who loves his Wraith King, one of the only players who really believes in this hero and asks for it. And the way that T1 have played it in this tournament, they just go for Armlet, Deso, and they just run you over, right? And if you pair it up with this Batrider, he gets his timings, and this Magnus, who's going to empower 23 Savage to hit his timing earlier, I can see them actually succeeding in doing what they want to.
Tell me the strengths of Peaches then.
The strength of, I was going to say I really favor the T1.
No,
T1
tell me the strengths for Vici Gaming.
The strengths for Vici Gaming, well, they have a ton of minus armor and right-click damage in the late game. If the game goes late, they're definitely going to win, but I don't think it's going to go late.
Okay, that's a traditional Vici thing.
Their Roche potential is like quite high if they get a good fight somewhere, right? And Shadow Fiend can farm quickly enough to hopefully match Batrider if he doesn't get ganked, right? So Enchantress and Tide aren't the best heroes in ganking SF, so you can actually guarantee that he's going to have an okay time, right?
Well, now that we have gone in the game, we need to find out how to break this game down. And that's why we have the last word segment. And what do you need to get rid of the last word? You need a purge.
Incredible throw. I'm really impressed. It's going to be a pretty cool game. We saw the Bat come out at an interesting point in the draft, which is going to put a lot of the Vici heroes on the back foot because Bat is so effective against the enemy lineup. Against SF, you get on top of him, you don't give him that triple raise. Yeah, he's got some right click, but it's a bit of a downside. So I think the Bat is really going to be the core hero we got to watch this game. How is he going to do in the laning stage? How is he going to do in the mid game with these ganks? Vici did try to offset that a little bit with the Venge pick so that they can actually swap Bat out of position or save whoever gets grabbed. There are tools that they can use to end it, but let's hop into the game here. Take it away, casters.
I love it when people throw to us like just casters, just very anonymous purge. I thought we were closer friends than that. Is it because I berate you for not asking for bacon? Suns fan here with Cinderin. Game 3 of this best of 3 Vici Gaming versus T1. Loser goes home. Winner faces off against the dominant IG. Cinderin, thoughts on this lineup? We get to see Vengeful Spirit. It's been a while.
Yep.
The minus armor strat with the Shadow Fiend. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of upsides to both strategies here, honestly. I will say, from my perspective, I've had a couple of games in this tournament I've been like, wow, this is just an amazing Batrider game, and it just hasn't really shown up that much. I do love the way Carl usually plays it, though, so that has me a bit hopeful for T1. I think Batrider has to own in this game for it to really work, because if he doesn't, I just foresee the problem of T1 that the damage just becomes overwhelming. This Vici Gaming lineup has so insanely much damage. After they get 1 or 2 key items, we know what Venge X does to the game. She will be a terrible target for the RP. For once, there's a hero you really don't want to RP. There's a hero you don't want to lasso. And Old 11 can effectively just play as like a frontline vision hero once he gets that Axe. So would imagine T1 will try to play very aggressive around their bat and see if they can get off to a good start off that lane primarily.
I mean, again, Magnus makes it through, Cinderin. Tiny makes it through, in fact. Treant Protector Band. Obviously, we saw T1 use that. It didn't have the biggest impact in the game that we specifically cast, but you can see the respect for T1, one of the few teams to bring something like that out. But Magnus, again, hero of the tournament for sure. As Payoyo is playing the position 1 Tiny this time around, and looks like Cuckoo, again, Magnus. No surprise. But we're looking at Carl mid against Ori. This is Batrider versus Shadowfiend. Shadowfiend feels like very susceptible to an early death here, but he has the advantage going right off the bat. Nope, deny. All right, as we have first blood. Whitemon actually takes out PYW. It's an unexpected kill, Cinderin.
Yeah. Obviously, Enchantress rotating down here for the 3-man gank will yield some sort of success, and Vici Gaming maybe not expecting this rotation, but yeah, I think it's important for T1 to help out this bottom lane. You're playing Wraith King Tide at the start against Monkey King Venge. I think that's going to be, you know, Venge, usually a hero we talk about how much are you going to lose the lane. Can actually win that one, but
Zephyr
the same
gets
thing
brought down top. Cuckoo still only level 1 right now, just getting completely harassed out. Throwing the tree, getting him very low. I mean, Monkey King just against any melee hero. Pretty rough, in addition to having Tiny to have to worry about.
And now the swap again. Vici Gaming are going to send the Disruptor bottom now to Venge instead of that Monkey King with the rotation that Monkey made top. And what this means is you now have double range against Wraith King, something he also doesn't like facing very much. Ench can't find a creep with this enchant. All the camps are blocked here. He has to go very far left to the Centaur camp that is currently presenting itself. Probably will see Whitemon do that and maybe see if he can look for a backstab move with that into the Wraith King or off the Wraith King Wraith Fire Blast. But yeah, Whitemon just looked and he was like, oh well, guess there's nothing for me. Comes back to lane, and this is good news for Vici Gaming in that bot lane, I think. Venge should have an okay time. And okay is enough for Venge a lot.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of games with Venge off lane where it actually does horribly in the laning state and still has huge impact once you get the Aghanim Scepter. So if you're able to not have a terrible start, then that's just going to make your game even better. But I mean, what is the reason we haven't been seeing Venge as much? I mean, there was a slight nerf to the Axe, but I feel like it wasn't that big.
I still thought Venge was going to be a pretty big pick this tournament. I'm as surprised as you are. Like, I don't know if you're surprised. You just asked the question.
Very surprised. Whitemon and company going on top of Old 11. So we talked about the laning stage for this hero. As DY looks to be next on the list for T1. Now, one more right click will do it. In fact, the Wraith Fire Blast being expended, so 23 Savage with an early double kill for T1.
Yeah, they bring down the Tide there to get that extra kill, but as a matter of fact, Venge just died to the dual lane. They were trying to kill Whitemon, but he obviously has Nature's Attendance and a Fairy Fire, and Venge Disruptor did not have enough in the tank, so regretting that go. They don't necessarily have to kill in this lane. You just need Venge to farm, and you can maybe poke and prod a little bit at the Wraith King, but I think going on Ench is a recipe for getting countered. T1 with a very good response there. It's going to find now.
Bagi dong. Bagi dong. Apa itu? Nah, dua. Dua lagi dong. Bagi dua lagi ya. Tungguin dua lagi. Dua lagi. Dua lagi dong. Loh, jangan lagi, Pak. Bagi dong. Memang apa? Halo? Oh, nge-lag tuh.
Left to his own devices and 23 Savage gets punished.
Yeah, this mid lane gank. Oh, he's almost dying to the boys. Old 11. DY's gonna block the boys. Oh, he canceled the salve.
Okay.
Salve too early. Bit of a mistake there from DY. It's gonna cost Old 11 effectively 400 health. That he didn't just wait another second, and that's big because now that Wraith King is coming back to lane, he's very confident and very in a great position to just challenge. Whereas before he would have to be a little bit careful, and now the rotation's coming in from T1. They're gonna find DY.
Yeah, Whitemon and Zephyr making the rotation bot. This is looking like a potential another kill onto Old 11 at the very least. You can see the fat, juicy, tanky Zephyr taking a lot of damage. He will be brought down thanks to the rotation of PYW. So it's a 1-for-1 exchange. It's like a roaming Tidehunter in this game. You don't see that every day.
The dynamic in this game is very interesting. There's two heroes in this game that have good farm. Wraith King and Tiny with 27 CS.
Yeah.
Everyone else, it's getting okay now. Both Bad Rider and Shadow Fiend just got a decent amount of influx from some stacks, but the CS number is relatively low for what we usually see. Magnus sitting on a measly 9 here. Cuckoo has been very having a hard time top from that early tri-lane, and Tiny, of course, challenges him very well in terms of just raw last hit damage with that Quelling Blade and 85. Cuckoo trying to try to cut the wave, will succeed.
As mid lane, the push continues now. Zephyr still roaming as this Tidehunter. Whitemon's going to find DY with the tomato creep. He's doing a lot of damage thanks to that Hellbear Smasher ability. Is DY getting chased? Looks like Cuckoo took a tumble in the top lane and getting tipped. Oh boy. Yeah, that is not good. Cuckoo having a really rough time right now. And that is not something that we're used to seeing from T1. It feels like he's one of the more, I mean, everybody's relatively stable, of course, but from an offlane perspective, very much so. It's Carl, Firefly on the PYW. Boundless Strike going to keep him in place for now. Zephyr with that Gush, slowing him down to a crawl. And with a bunch of heroes from T1.
Absolutely no problem for Carl. He has haste. As he could have soloed that Monkey King, no problem. But the reason this rotation is so good is that they have extra reinforcements against the defense to try to hold this tier 1 tower, and you really want to push this if you're T1. Might even see Enchantress start tanking it and get a second point in Nature's Attendance, but I guess he also would like to have an impetus point at this point. No, he's going to skill it now. So 2 in the heal for Whitemon. Looking to perhaps backstab Ori. Zephyr was coming in, but
Thunderstrike is going to spot out Zephyr. He's going to take it. 3 Shadow Fiend raises. And Ori
in top lane,
credit for that. Poyoyo, okay, going a little bit too deep. As this tower looks to be falling, it will be a deny in favor of T1.
He got the enemy offlane tower minute 7 as Tiny.
But he did die.
He did die, but
which is something Cuckoo really needed.
Very unusual this early in the game.
Yeah, especially solo.
Yeah. So probably feels pretty good about that.
Oh, we got the glimpse out. Carl at least would get his bottle back.
No, he didn't.
Wait, he didn't actually give the bottle in time?
Where is the bottle?
It should be on Tide. It's on
Tide doesn't have the bottle either.
Okay,
it's in the base on the courier.
Oh, okay. He doesn't want to walk back to the mid lane, I guess. All right, well, he's got the bottle charged and just delayed, you know, for weather. That's a very common excuse from delivery people, I'm sure. PYW finds Whitemon in the river, gets off the Boundless Strike with the kinetic field. This is going to be an easy one for Visha. Wait, healing up now. PYW continuing to chase. You can see the Nature's Attendance. That's the Crimson Witness, Cinderin, giving extra heal, I'm sure.
I think a bit of a mistake there from Ori. He started with the long raise. I think he needs to use the kinetic field to connect the mid raise so that he can hit the long raise afterwards, but doing them in opposite order effectively gave Whitemon a chance to escape, and he will get away. So, nice escape from him there. And a very even game right now, which I think is overall pretty good for Vici Gaming. They weathered the storm against the Bat. Carl hasn't really been dominating yet. They're going to find this time Whitemon will not get away. Oh, that second raise was
a little off.
Pretty much a tribute to the Breathe Fire.
The Breathe Fire.
Some fair play here from Ori. The 2 mid laners might need to warm up their mice a little bit, but again, inconsequential in the big picture here. Still find the kill, but the gold will go to Old 11 instead, and honestly that might end up being a blessing in disguise that he misses this raise. I think Venge's Aghanim Scepter is the single biggest item for the Dire to get in this game.
It's true.
So Oregon at the
Poyoyo
9 mid.
looking to finish his Echo Saber with another 1,000 gold or so.
Oh yo, let's go RP, let's go. Kita mau udah bikin high aja lah. Sing on. Shader. Coba ya, coba dulu bentar. Gua lupa ngapain gua ini. Ngapain gua display capture? Bahaya display capture. Dua setengah coy kapasitas. Dan kau hadir. Tahu anehnya orang Indonesia. Masa cuma EZ game bilang drama brengsek. Aneh nih. Bota mah kalau dibilang EZ game mah agak ini boy. Siapa? Bisa di gini aja, nggak ribet. Ganti judul dulu. Mari usut tuntas kasus Bigfoot meresah. Ini ada kepanjangan. Ya. Ini aja. Bersama. Drama kan sih. RP pertama kita ganti wajah dulu. Halo, halo.
7 from 71 Alpha. Oh, copy 10 Fox. Halo, Pak Pratama ini.
Iya, siapa ini? Nama kamu siapa?
Oh, copy standby. Ya, saya dispatcher Pak Han Harris.
Siapa?
Dispatcher saya Han Harris.
Oh, Han Harris. Oh, kamu yang ngelapor 311 kemarin nih?
311 yang mana tuh Pak?
Yang itu, Bigfoot.
Oh iya, itu saya.
Ah, ya udah nanti sebentar ya saya ini dulu.
Thank you.
Saya mau nanya kasusnya. Cek radio.
Kan tuh.
6169 reporting 1041. Any active situation?
We currently have 57 from 45. From 55 attack to sir.
Apa?
Radio check.
10-2,
sir. 17 Lincoln 04, show me code 7.
Copy marking code 7.
Jangan widi-widi lu masuk kota sini. Kita yang ngebacot. Yang widi-widi aja. Main bedset lu ya? Captor. Mobil gua lupa bukan di sini ya. Apa gua spawn di mari ya? Coba gua pakai dot charger. Gak keluar lagi. Pakai Mustang lah. Ya kan? Udah mirip. Yoi. Pakai apa ya? Corvette. Size B. Corvette 7 nya sama. Ya siapa kan? Corvette 7 kan?
So far there to Deputy Balcony Chief.
Balcony chip send it, sir.
20.
Harmony, sir.
Harmony.
Iya, sir, lagi benerin mobil.
Oh, satu. Ininya scatter.
Radio check.
Mobil gua mana ya?
And to requesting 77 at BBM transportation please.
Radio terus. Woi, Ranger beban.
Weh, mata satu.
Beban dong.
Waduh. Bangsat lu Ranger beban.
Mata satu.
Waduh.
Biasa dong.
Biasa apa aja?
Biasa, anterin saya ke sensor.
Wah, goblok lu bentar di sini. Ini ada red tulung.
Makasih mata satu.
Lu ngapain lagi di MRPD goblok?
Saya lupa, saya tadi diturunin taksi di sini pingsan saya di tengah jalan. Entahlah, saya prepare lu mau nangkep becet.
Kan di Sandisos.
Kenapa? Kenapa kamu tahu?
Di Sandisos kan bisa goblok.
Lah, saya kan kagak tahu taksinya, langsung nganter ke sini.
Enggak, maksud saya kan di Armory Sandisos ada.
Apanya?
Armory Sandisos kan ada, ngapain di sini?
Lah. Jadi kenapa nggak boleh di sini?
Nggak boleh lah, lu siapa?
Nah, saya the one and only Sergeant Ranger. Kamu nggak tahu?
Alah. Sudah cepet.
Kamu masih lama kak? Mata satu.
Dispatch 7 Telecom 04, mark me back. Correct.
Copy 7 Telecom 04, mark me back.
Oh ya, aku mau RP ini dulu. NDOJ.
Surga 77 at BBM, thank you.
Ada nih. Ngurus berkas.
Dispatch 711 joining 70 Lincoln offer. Now 70 Adam offer.
Mau gimana?
Saya ganti sepatunya, ini bekas ngelas di construction set, mohon maaf.
Ayo 1A.
Iya, ini kamu bajunya harus ganti.
Ke Pak James Merlin.
Dispatch, ada satu unit lagi nggak yang bisa ini? Kayaknya bisa deh.
1A.
Seven berapa ya? 7 to Adam 14 mungkin bisa.
Itu abis.
Itu udah ada.
Ada. Udah ada ya? Udah ada.
Kayaknya
Ya?
udah ada.
7 Adam O2.
Ya itu jam sama Josh.
Oke.
Nah iya itu mereka berdua tuh pasti.
Ya udah panggil aja.
Dispatch Director 71 Adam O2.
Ya, kamu ganti baju dulu, Ki.
Oh, ganti
Kamu
baju
ganti
dulu.
baju yang rapi.
Nanti kesini lagi.
Ya. Caranya rapi, pakai sepatu.
Ada apa?
Pakai sepatu sama pakai itu ya. Pakai vest. Ya rompi.
Rompinya yang gimana ya? Unicorn bisa. Mau nggak?
Apa?
Kayak unicorn.
Ngapain?
Serpatnya seneng-seneng.
Saya kan mau ini dulu ambil mobil.
Nantilah anjing, nggak sekarang.
Lah, saya kapan buktinya? Dia mau menangkap jahat ini.
Ya udah belakang kau belakang.
Duduk belakang kau. Duduk belakang kau.
Oh gitu.
Duduk belakang nggak?
Sabar.
Duduk belakang nggak?
Sabar kagak muat ini.
Kenapa duluan?
Duluan aja.
Kenapa?
Ganti pakaian dulu.
Ya ganti pakaian kan.
Buset dah.
Ngapain? Dia ngapain?
Udah. Ibu wortel udah kagak ada ngambil Pak Honor.
Ya jemput lah, kasihan. Gimana sih?
Hah? Orang dia kan bawa mobil.
Oh iya kan?
Tahu.
Ya udah suruh dia ke public garage sudah ya naik.
Ribet kali ah.
Ribet.
Ribet.
Ini saya di belakang nih. Aduh,
Dia nggak
dong.
tahu baju yang gimana.
Tahu, orang udah dikasih tahu.
Emang lo katanya bawa mobil.
Lu mau
tapi
ikut
mobil
nggak?
mana?
Astaga.
Mau ngomel aja nih mata satu.
Pakai kelas itu lagi ngancemnya.
Mana dia? Lah, jadi makeoverin orang.
Enggak, saya
yaudah.
ikutin saya.
Astaga.
Connor warning 1 ya. Oh, betul-betul ya.
Bawa mobil kamu parkirin, mau dimanapun, saya juga mau.
Betul-betul. Dia mau ganti baju dulu, Connor.
Udah di sini sekalian aja gitu.
Cepat.
Allah. Ini semua gara-gara Pak Ranger ini di sini.
Nah, kenapa jadi jaring saya?
Salah. Itu dia biarin aja dia pakai
Kita
baju
parkirin
dulu.
mana gitu?
Ya.
Ayo.
Missing tekstur dah.
Pakai kanannya aja yang di dekat
Bingung.
jalan ke BBM.
Garasi terdekat aja di kanan.
Kanan ya di kanan.
Emang itu siapa sih dia?
Tolong.
Long Ranger.
Baru pertama kali.
Udah sini aja. Connect mobil saya.
57 on Vinewood, what tech?
Yuk.
Should be on tech 2 sir, but I think they are confirmed happy.
Oh ini langsung
mulai.
Enggak, maksudnya.
Baju maksudnya.
Kamu
Barang
bawa.
kita aja.
Siapa ini namanya? Yang mau red tolong?
Roy.
Nggak pakai Martin kan?
Oh enggak pak. Mulai ngelawak Ranger beban ini.
Apa sih ini orang? Gua gigit kuping dulu, Connor. Duh. Apa jadi masih missing tekstur dah?
Tadi aja yang tadi abu-abu tadi tuh.
Nah tuh, cari yang
Ini
pas
ya.
warna hitam.
Cari yang hitam.
Ini.
Nah,
Nggak
dah.
boleh.
Pakai
Sepatu.
Nyeker aja nggak apa-apa kamu. Kenapa aku jangan nangis?
Celananya yang bagus dikit.
Oh oke.
Nggak apa-apa loh, nggak boleh gitu Mei.
Siapa yang
Apa-apa
bawa?
Biar agak ganteng. Nah ini ganteng ya.
Ya boleh. Sepatunya yang keren dah, serah.
Wah, lu ke setting di bagian atas, atur grafik yang kotak-kotak. Hah? Setting grafik.
Halo Pak.
Halo. Yang mana ini, Gor? Mana, Gor?
Megot. Ini.
Dia pusing. Mata satu pusing. Mata satu pusing. Kamu masuk ke Mei? Lorenta.
Sudah bisa masuk
Bisa,
saya
bisa
nih.
masuk.
Nggak ada
Diam
lemnya
dulu.
nih.
Sini, deketin dulu.
Oh iya. Pakai seat aja. Bantuin.
Pindah.
Saya juga ini pak.
Aja.
Pindah, nggak bisa pindah.
Udah tinggal masuk aja sih.
Coba masuk.
Nah.
Ini Pak Kano gimana? Tarik petugas
Oh.
imigrasi dia.
Tunggu.
Kunci.
Iya cek.
Bukan
Itu.
ngamuk dia.
Jangan. Ngelok juga lah. Lama banget.
Tuh.
Ini tuh jadi saya ride along tuh bisa beberapa kali dalam misalkan sampai
Please
besok
jangan nge-lag
juga
lah.
masih bisa gitu, Bu.
Bisa sampai
Sebanyak yang
kapanpun,
kamu mau.
sampai recruitment selesai. Itu
Oh,
bisa.
oke.
Tolong terus saja. Setiap kamu bangun, kalau kamu mau tolong langsung aja ke RPD.
Oh, oke. Jadi nanti mintanya ke siapa aja yang tersedia gitu ya. Apa
311 aja.
Kamu ini aja sih ke RPD, habis itu kalau lihat aja ada orang atau tidak. Kayak tadi tuh ada dispatch kan namanya.
Tuh, 2,
Kalau
3.
tidak ada dispatch ya kamu 311 saja.
Oh, iya.
Sebelumnya kerja apa kamu, Pak?
Sanitary, terus masih sanitary aja sih, terus sama mancing-mancing.
Sanitari apa lo Neta?
Sanitari
Dan
itu
ini kebersihan, Pak. Jadi relawan kebersihan
jadi
kota.
petugas kebersihan ya, betul.
Oh gitu.
Iya.
Cocok kamu, Ranger.
Terus kadang juga saya ngelas di construction site.
Rokok Pak.
Nah, jagoannya udah datang kan?
Apa ngelas di construction site? Oh.
Iya, ngelas. Ini
Nggak
juga
tahu,
baru beres
Bur.
ngelas, makanya agak
Kita
kurang
lihat
rapi. Tadi pakai sendal.
Ya. Udah, gitu doang kerjanya.
Iya, masih tadinya mau kerja di Rustres, udah nungguin, tapi katanya lagi full.
I see. Terus tahu informasi ride along itu dari mana?
Saya cuma nanya tadi sih, pengen tahu ada rekrutmen apa enggak. Ternyata kata bapak yang di depan itu yang dispatcher ya.
Betul.
Ya, katanya masih buka lah. Ternyata ini rezeki, saya nggak keterima di Rustres.
Kojek
Saya
minta
bisa
nomor.
keterima di sini. Gitu, Ibu.
Ya, betul. Ya kalau kita nih sekarang LSPD sih lagi open recruitment. Cuma kalau misalkan kamu pengen masuk, itu harus syarat pertamanya harus ikut rekrut dulu.
Iya. Terus saya ditanyain harus punya green card, itu apa ya?
Hah? Green?
Iya.
Apa yang bilang?
Apa itu?
Pak dispensernya.
Maksudnya green card US citizen.
Iya, green card US citizen kan.
Oh, astaga, ya ampun.
Kamu kira apa green card?
Kayak ini.
Maksudnya emang warnanya hijau gitu loh.
Nah, kamu kira warnanya apa? Black card.
Ya, maksudnya kan bisa aja warnanya putih atau warnanya apa gitu kan? Biru, merah.
Ya?
Bisa gitu kayak kalau bisa tahu.
Ya sebenarnya.
HP Gor ini Gor.
Green card.
87054347.
Oke.
Kalau domisili tetap.
Mundur, atuh.
Ada.
Pusing lah Pak.
Udah cek.
Aduh.
Freestyle ya.
Tentu cap.
Andra anjing nggak usah dorong bangsat. Andra goblok.
Dia lagi main handphone disalahin.
Sumpah lu Andra.
Saya diculik ini. Saya sensor Pak.
Anjing banget.
Terus kamu memang mau daftar polisi?
Iya.
Iseng aja?
Enggak, saya pengen emang jadi kepingin apa ya, saya tuh pertama datang ke apartemen, terus saya tuh kayak waktu turun langsung disandra gitu, jadi saya tuh jadi saya tuh kayak gimana ya, benci dengan kejahatan gitu. Jadi saya berinisiatif gitu, pengen jadi polisi buat membinasakan para tukang sandra.
Membinasakan.
Maksudnya itu
Kamu membunuh dong itu kan?
Bukan membunuh, maksudnya itu membinasakan dari beredarnya gitu, Bu. Beredarannya gitu. Orangnya tapi ya kelakuannya itu. Soalnya kita harus membenci orang itu karena sifatnya bukan karena orang.
Oh, jadi kamu
Cek
membenci
radio.
mereka.
Itu.
Kamu Mas sudah berapa kali di Sandra?
Waktu itu udah 2 kali.
Kenallah sayangku.
Pertama kali saya landing ke Los Santos, terus saya kasih apartemen, turun udah ditolong.
Emangnya kamu sudah berapa lama tinggal di sini?
Ada sekitar 2 minggu, tapi saya nganggur di apartemen.
Andra?
Ya, kenapa? Kenapa?
Duluan ya anjing.
Brengsek, saudara.
Halo Pak Andra.
Yo.
Lama tidak ketemu.
Siapa ini?
Balvenie Chip.
Apa?
Balvenie Chip.
Oh, Pak Kajik kalau Pak Kajik.
Pak Kajek lagi tadi kayaknya ke MRPD.
Dono. Gue mau sertifikat itu dong. Apa? Interceptor.
Mau sertifikat interceptor?
Oh, gimana no?
Ya Bapak protes dulu.
Tesnya gimana? Iya makanya tesnya gimana?
Tesnya...
Ngapain kesini atuh?
Apa?
Sabar. Kenapa kan?
702, 702. Badan me.
Matamu kenapa?
Seni
Seneng lu gua di sini ya.
20 B.
Mbak seneng lu gua di sini ya. Lu enggak seneng
I
gua
am
di sini.
at Seni Shore
Hah?
Officer.
Mbak seneng lu, hah?
Ranger.
Maksudmu apa? Hah? Weh, lampu kakek saya.
Tena.
Maksud kamu apa?
Nggak jadi kamu jauh banget.
Anjing lu Ranger goblok.
Maksud kamu apa?
Berani berdua kalian ah?
Maksud kamu apa? Hah?
LSPD nih.
Gak peduli, LSPD. Gak peduli.
Aduh.
Aduh.
Anjing lu. Anjing. Udah anjing sakit
Mampus lu,
anjing
mampus.
sakit.
Pulang lo sono. Jangan sentuh SND Shore lagi.
Berhenti. Pak Honor.
Gimana tesnya?
Bapak ini boleh jelasin proses ini kita, trial kita?
Yah, abis efek gua.
Proses trialnya, pertama kita akan menggunakan CVPI Pak, di mana
Oh,
kita akan mengejar Jono. Di Jono dikejar, terus
pakai apa
Bapak
Jononya?
CVPI juga sama.
Oke.
Terus sama-sama menggunakan sports mode. Terus Bapak yang sebagai pengejar akan update di radio, terus rotator nyala, kotu. Habis itu kalau misalnya emang udah nggak kelihatan di visual Bapak, Jononya kemana, itu bilangnya VCB. Cuman kalau misalnya kira-kira bahwa masih, oh ini kayaknya kesini.
Speaking of fire, back to 57, northbound 103, suspect first vigil is speeding.
Tadi sampai mana sih? Oh itu kalau misalnya kira-kira Bapak tahu misalnya kemana ya code 6 dulu lah, jangan langsung VCB gitu sih.
Oh, jadi jangan asal ninggalin kasus.
Okay, suspect jumping into
Iya.
Los Santos Freeway northbound.
Udah, nantilah.
Jangan sekarang Pak, saya baru selesai
Iya,
ini.
maksudnya itu. Gue juga nggak mau sekarang. Nanti aja kalau lu emang benar-benar free John. Mobil gua by the way di mana ya?
60 is a obey. 4-door sedan, black in color, black matte with
Kagak di MRPD.
Kagak ada di MRPD.
Ada di MRPD, kalau nggak ada di MRPD berarti kepala itu. 7861 punya.
Gua pakai Raptor aja.
Continuing, still northbound, Los Santos Freeway, opposite lane. Left and right. Opposite lane of traffic. Left turn, off-road to Bolingbrook. Massive 50 on the suspect. Off-road.
61 King 69.
Right beside parallel of Bolingbrook Penitentiary. Approaching parking lot Bolingbrook. To westbound.
70 Adam 4 on your 6.
Jauh sekali sir, ya, siap. Still
Wah,
southbound
bener,
now,
bukan
not
M.
58,
Quarter
approaching
left.
Harmony.
Encoder apa, Gor?
Recklessly driving, left and right. Approaching Harmony in 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, approaching Harmony, still westbound. Slowing down. Oh shit, massive 50. Turn into eastbound, still road 68. Secondary, depan.
Copy, we got eyes. Suspect now on eastbound, road 68. Oh shit!
Secondary still too far.
Suspect still going northeastbound. I think we need interceptor unit.
On our 6. Interceptor unit on your 6.
Los Santos Freeway northbound.
R50, go ahead, handle units. Saya pikir interceptor. Oke.
Interceptor ada di belakang.
10-4.
Primary, secondary.
Primary, sir.
Oke.
Secondary Senora Freeway northbound. Dispatch tangkapan ya, udah depan 4 ini.
Di mana sih mereka? Di belakang gue ya?
Dispatch.
Oh, mereka masuk sana.
Careful secondary. He got headache.
Continuing, update into northbound Senora Freeway. Opposite lane, Senora Freeway northbound. Suspect YIT primary, very reckless, off-road, westbound.
Go ahead, sir. Okay, we got third party over here.
Party? Negatif ini temannya juga ini, teman yang off-road ini sir.
Itu party pentol.
We can join tag 2 sir, kasusnya sama seperti ini.
Standby. Saya lagi fokus bawa mobil.
Ini custom match.
Third party. Ini main Mobile Legend, PUBG aja.
Okay, move to tag 2. Secondary.
GP gua siap turun ke 70, langsung bolong jalanan. Tuh kan. Gue dulu, ntar ikutin tekstur yang kasih begini.
Dispatch di 71, Lincoln 45 is spawning last 31B.
Mana? Nah, kagak ada.
Dispatch from the last 31B on TP Avenue, there's no 60 or 61, there's gonna be code 4, going detained. Dispatch.
Ntar gue setting dulu dah.
Radio check. Yes, dispatch.
Mark me 6267 1041.
Copy, marking you 1041, welcome back.
This is Central PD, right?
Yes.
Direct to just standby ya.
Satu, dua, dan tiga. Loh. Kok cocok? Lah gimana bedanya? Belum. Oh, disuruh bentokin tekstur itunya sama Evelyn. Lah, kagak tahu. Kerja 1 jam 25. Tadi apaan kata Evelyn? Untokin texture budget. Texture budget. Texture budget. Maksudnya gue normal semua? Surat sehat maksudnya? Oh. Jangan dikunci deh. Takut ada monduti. Cek radio.
Kau ikut tidak?
Udah, detektif ngambek.
Sinan direct to dispatch.
Senator.
Itu yang 71 di radio berapa?
Texas, sir.
Oke, thank you.
I'm hit.
Hold on, sir.
Guys, hang on.
Fire inbound, stand by, guys.
Multiple injuries and multiple officers down.
You're falling down.
Kalau nggak kuat, mundur dulu.
Status?
Shot fire, heavy damage, multiple officers down, major injuries.
Plus one.
Gunshot.
Last one, shot fired.
69. Go ahead.
Officer yang tersisa. One officer, one deputy, shot fired.
Standby. 69 King out on the way. Gua kenapa engine auto mulu?
Mereka kabur menggunakan motor.
Heading mana?
Turning to westbound at Mount Gilead. I'm moving in.
Cek di Mount Gilead.
One suspect down. Suspect down. Another man down.
The 60 blue, sedan.
One down.
How many suspect?
One down.
Terakhir saya cek mereka ada 6 ya.
Take out the car.
Oke.
One down.
Two down.
Dispatch to taxi unit 78.
Stay by.
Yes, we need 78. It's the mobile. The car's still mobile.
Copy that. I'm
Three down. I got 3 down. Copy that. 3 suspect down. Confirm.
Anjir.
Suspect Major 50. Stuck.
Suspek ada di saya satu.
10-4.
Baksa tupi anjing sakit banget.
Suspect John Hill, Southeast Mall, North Columbia Way, Mount Chiliad. Reverse.
Ya, gua kagak ada.
Suspect Heart 50.
20?
Southeast Mall, North Columbia Way. On arrow. 10-4, I'm moving in on arrow's location. Copy. I think this just one suspect. Oh, hard 50 on suspect, mobilnya massive damage itu udah.
Aero, kamu lihat yang motor gak?
Yang motor PCB. Udah ninggalin temannya. Ada satu. Sorry, itu ada satu suspek yang downnya di apa dekat jurang. Yang pakai baju merah besar badannya. Aero 20.
Brut. Bagi medkit dong, iPad. Mobil saya di sana no, di bawah.
Sabar, kamu ikut saya dulu. Approach itu North Columbia Way. Blue sport car, 4 doors. Just the far right. 10-4, I'm trying to get down. Alright. I think just one suspect there. 10-4.
Hati-hati sama yang motor ya tadi. Saya ditembakin sama yang motor.
Entering tunnel. Karena di bawah itu.
Bro.
Pakai seatbelt. Swimming. Mobilnya mau jemput ini tuh. Oke, kita Pepper fire. Alright, dia balik ke tunnel. Oke. Hold on. Dia naik shoot to paralyze. Hold on. We're trying to get down. Hold on. Oh shit. One down. You good? Right. Giving him the other. No, dia putih. Kita cuma satu doang.
Standby. 76. I'm on mobil brute. Pistol keluar brute. Kamu udah keluarin pistol?
Sudah. I will check the car. Nothing.
Bagi efek dong.
Habis. Ini ada nih. Saya taruh di drop box sini. Yang efek ya, bukan medical bag. Nanti si Andra ikut kamu ya. Mobilnya di atas soalnya. Siapa nan? Iya.
Saya ini aja aero ya.
Mobilmu di mana?
Saya naik aero aja.
Iya. Oke.
Mobil saya rusak, jatuh jurang.
Oke.
Aero siapa yang bawa?
Apa?
Saya.
Ya udah saya
Kalau yang
numpang di
mobil,
Aero ya.
Iya.
Ambil mobil
apa di mana?
tadi itu.
di atas di Monci
Dia
lihat.
awalnya cuma langgar lampu merah. Dalamnya dia ikut temanin yang mobil jeep itu, terus berujung shotfire di gunung.
Yang bawa Aero siapa tadi?
Negara 50
Saya
saya.
mau mobil jeep juga lampu merah
Iya,
tadi.
tolong anterin saya dulu deh.
Saya.
Sebentar, partner saya down.
Udah kebanyakan di sini soalnya.
Radio cek.
Ya.
Acton.
Rentu.
Ya,
Ya, gimana statusnya di atas sana?
Kenapa Pak?
Kotor.
GMS bisa masuk kah?
Partner saya down.
Gimana ya?
Si Muller.
Ada beberapa yang
Partner saya down, si Muller di atas, nanti tolong dijemput ya.
Oke, ini saya soalnya lagi berkumpul dengan GMS di biar ini. Mau saya kirimkan GMS gimana?
Bisa dikirimkan. Mungkin beberapa EMS bisa pakai helikopter juga. Ini ada beberapa yang susah banget.
S104.
Satu EMS bisa dikirim ke North Calivia Way, di bawahnya Montiliad ada satu 7 suspek.
Nah, sebelah kiri.
Oh, ada seri lagi kan.
Pokoknya ikutin lurusan jalanan mau ke atas Monci lihat. Kayaknya di sini dah lurusan dulu. Nggak masalah.
Waduh.
Sebelah kiri. Oh ya, ini di sini nih. Lurus lagi. Naikin. Ini siapa? Deputi siapa?
Acton.
Oh, naik lagi. Loh, kok tenang. Nah, itu dia tuh mobil saya.
Kok bisa di sini?
Ya saya tadi ditembakin, di sini ada suspeknya. Lalu saya turunin ke bawah, jadi cover tuh mobil. Oke, makasih ya. Kamu jemput yang itu tuh, yang 47.
Dan. Iya.
Terima kasih, hati-hati.
Yuk.
Anjing. Bahannya bocor, pantesan.
Direktur Aero.
Sendit.
Tolong, itu 2 orang pingsan di jurang, nggak bisa diambil dua-duanya deputi kita.
Oke. Standby. I need you.
Okay.
I need you too, baby. Kamu di mana?
Ini belakang kamu.
Perhaps Director Tech 2, how's the situation?
Situation Scott 4.
Direktur Aero, ini saya belakang kamu nih. Nih. Oh lord.
Lupa nge-share ke Vector kan. Gimana yang di jurang? Dapat nggak?
Sabar, masih mencoba.
Direktur Sarjan itu.
SND.
52-nya yang tadi kan ke bawah sini, apakah sudah perjalanan?
Saya udah kasih tahu pesan, tapi saya nggak tahu udah jalan atau belum. Pergi soal dari harmoni saya.
Hah? Ini mobil yang di Montiliad atas nama Michael Saibu.
Aduh, kayaknya kan poser.
Standby, awas. Jangan ini dulu. Nah, bentar, saya coba mendarat dulu. Bentar. Go. Hati-hati, Kapten.
Brengsek kagak bisa lewat. Tabrakin kamu bawa mobil gak? Ya putih. Kamu bawa mobil gak? Tolong tabrakin. Tabrakin yang hitam. Itu yang 47 langsung dibawa aja tuh sama Aero. Yang hitam, jangan yang saya.
Aero bisa dua lagi tuh. Masuk 47 tuh kalau mau.
Satu lagi.
Nah. Ya, masih belum.
Kirin, Andra, kirin. Kamu nggak pernah kondangan ya?
Nah, ada. Sip. Thank you.
Aero, kamu langsung aja bang, entar.
Oke, ini udah clear ya?
Udah kotor.
Jadi gini Andra.
Wah.
Boleh geser gak?
Saya impon dulu. Masuk. Halo?
Oh, who is this?
Halo?
Halo?
Ya.
Ini yang mesen itu bukan? Impon bukan?
Apa?
Bapak mesin impon impon ciliat mau bunuh saya apa gimana?
70 Adam 4, 76 PBM
Terus
standing
kenapa
by.
emang? Kamu nggak mau ngambil?
Bukan nggak mau ngambil, saya nanya. Itu beneran di Monceliat?
Iya emang. Kalau nggak mau ngambil nggak apa-apa.
Bukan masalahnya saya nggak mau ngambil, truknya nggak bisa naik.
Ya udah berarti nggak usah diambil.
Ini ada satu
Kalau gitu jangan
saya ini
impon gitu. Soalnya saya kira
Kalau misalnya kurang personal IMS langsung dibawa aja Pak.
Apa-apa. Saya kan udah saya juga, yang penting saya udah lapor.
Saya standby ini bersama.
Iya, misalnya itu kalau mau diambil harus truk datang ke sana Pak.
Saya nyangkut di gunung.
Truk apa?
Truk towing.
Oh, ya udah kalau gitu masih diambil dari ini. Ya, impon lokal aja yang ada.
Oh.
Ayo udah.
Oke. Apaan? Makasih. Tunggu.
This is dispatch to units on track 2. Itu untuk 47-nya apakah sudah di-escort atau gimana?
Belum Pak, jadi sebagian sudah standby di PBM dan sebagian bantu IMS angkut 47 Pak.
Oke, dan copy.
Wow.
Untuk yang di sana, 47-nya sudah clear semua atau bagaimana? Posisinya di Montpellier?
Kayaknya ada satu di kita sih. Cuma kita bakal escort mereka ke PBM, kayaknya belum datang ya EMS.
EMS aerial.
Masih tenggelam anjing.
Jadi kita escortingnya jadinya ke Harmony atau ke PBM langsung?
Tinggal dia. Bantu.
Loh, drone unitnya mana semua ini? Apa udah pindah ke Central PD semua?
3 ada 3 4. Why?
Kamu bawa 47 nggak?
Enggak. Yang bawa itu Leon bawa satu.
Ya udah, suruh
Astagfirullahaladzim.
biar dibawa IMS aja.
Berarti untuk 47-nya di Montpellier sudah clear ya?
Ini kita jadi escortnya ke mana tadi? PBM atau ke Harmony? Itu Harmony banyak
Itu udah ada helikopter IMS tuh, kamu 911 aja.
Ya oke, go ahead, you can 911 the EMS helicopter.
Pas itu matiin mesin, hidupin mesin.
Itu ada satu flip IMS di Montpellier tuh, aman gak itu?
Rescue choppernya, sorry.
Oh itu dia menaik heli ya? Oke.
Yes.
Oke, saya standby di IMS ya.
10-4.
This is dispatch. Dispatch 2, what's the situation currently now?
Currently escorting multiple 47 at to PBM.
Okay, copy. Waiting for update at Central.
Kenapa musik tekstur? Apa gara-gara ini ya? NVA. Ini gara-gara NVA gua. NVA ya, normal aja. Jalan. Jalan. Telat buat nge-render anjir. Iya nih fix ini NC aja. Gua kagak kuat pakai NC. Telat render. Bentar. Siapa ya? No, mana? Halo guys. I need to repair guys.
Iya sebentar ya Pak.
Iya.
Ini
Soal
bagus
unit,
ya Pak.
apakah ini udah diperiksa semua barang bawaan mereka?
Belum.
Bisa di double cross check lagi?
Direct to Bruce.
Send it.
Itu yang 911 udah direspon Bruce.
Yang mana? 911.
Iya 911.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
Aduh. The Park Ranger.
Kurang tahu, saya di PBM nih, saya lagi double cross check. Ini masih ada bawa senjata-senjata ini mereka nih. Diperiksa lagi.
Sir.
Oke, 10-4. Kenapa?
Saya juga tanggal 18 bakal interview, sir.
Oh, bagus.
Doakan saya, sir ya.
Ya, semoga ya.
Oke.
Semoganya disemogakan.
Siapa yang interview kamu?
Belum tahu, sir.
Belum tahu. Oke.
Kan acak, sir.
Oh iya, udah benar. Di sini ada aero.
Sir, kaki sir terluka tuh, sir.
Nine,
Ada unit aero.
I can. Bisa kenapa?
Itu udah dicek yang 911 barusan. Yang tadi di mana? Kunci lihat.
Saya kira sudah Pak, itu ada helikopter EMS juga itu.
Mobilnya mau diperbaikin nggak, sir?
Kenapa?
I think so.
Diperbaikin mobilnya?
Iya.
Udah ada mekanik yang ngambil belum?
Belum.
Udah, biar saya aja, sir.
Itu ada dia tuh. Kayak
Saya biar kerja aja.
Oh ya udah. Saya kira kamu pelanggan.
Biar saya yang ngapain mobil Park Ranger ya.
Tembak ke siapa ke Challenger.
Perlu pergantian part banyak nih, sir.
Waduh, berapa duit?
Kelas B ya.
Berapa duit?
10 part, ada 21 part, sir.
20.
Diganti.
Berapa?
21 part.
Total berapa tuh? Berapa duit?
Ntar saya hitung ya.
Ya, coba. Nyampe lagi 10.000.
Tenang aja, sir. Untuk servis body dan segala macamnya, jadi totalnya 2000
Hah?
2145, Sir.
Oh yaudah nggak apa-apa.
Oke.
Ini mau cash apa
Oh,
bayar di
nanti,
kasir?
Sir. Tunggu saya servis dulu mobilnya, Sir.
Oh yaudah kalau gitu. Alright. Kenapa ya missing tekstur? Kenapa ya? Lepas NVA.
Bolon, kamu ikut saya tidak? La Mesa sini.
King back to radio Central PD. Cek radio.
Ento.
69 King. Any active situation?
Negatif, Sir.
Ento. Wait, gua nih. Ayo. Banyak juga, 21 part. Apa aja emang?
Excel tree-nya paling banyak kedak di elektronik, Sir.
Itu untuk apa itu?
Elektronik tuh kayak untuk ECU segala macam, Sir.
Oh, pantesan kagak enak nih mobil kampret. Ntar gue bawa ah.
Iya, ini
mobil yang si PPI sekalian.
Direct to Vince.
Gua nelpon bentar ya.
Oke, nggak apa-apa.
Tolong saya mana ya? Kok hilang? Tolong siapa namanya? Tadi yang never mind, disregard.
Budi udah mulus kok, nanti saya
Kopi.
Mobil utamanya, Sir, atau mobil Sir sendiri nih?
Mobil saya ini.
Udah kalau gitu jangan saya.
Halo?
Sayang dong.
Iya, kenapa? Iya, kenapa?
Pak Jack. Mobil Pak Ranger saya taruh di MRPD aja ya.
Iya boleh.
Kejauhan
Masuk.
kalau LS di itu sensor.
Iya ya boleh boleh.
Ya udah makasih ya.
Hmm.
Cium dulu dong. Gila, persaingan bisnis ya. Kentalodon siapa sih Kentalodon? Andrew Gunner. Ebra Wester enakan dia. Yah. Kalung lu mana kalung lu?
Yang plus itu.
Yang mana?
Apa? Ini siapa
Woi.
ini?
Yup, saya
Mekanik ya?
sir.
Namanya siapa?
Danilo Askaban, sir.
Kepo banget tuh, udah ngomongnya pelan.
Bukan, sir.
Oke. Yang anak-anak cowoknya mana?
Full injeksinya 6, generator 3.
Enggak lihat ya?
Enggak, sir. Generator 3 dia butuh ya.
Caesar itu namanya. Namanya Caesar kan itu?
Enggak tahu, sir. Tire 1 sama engine part 1 ya.
Lah, lu kok kira kenal dia?
Enggak.
Lah terus ngapain dia nanya lu?
Enggak tahu nih.
Lah,
engine radiator transmisi salah ambil saya, sir.
Gue lupa kalau apa-apa. Macet terang. Banyak juga ya 21 part.
Iya, makanya sir nih untuk akselerasinya kurang kan?
Iya.
Sir.
Udah semua nih?
Belum, masih banyak, ada 11 part lagi.
Wih, mantap. Ya udah, gua mesen taksi dulu mau ngambil duit ya. Ntar.
Need 78, Foxtrot 57, 2 PBM. PBM. 73 Adam 34, 76.
7 Lincoln 39, same traffic.
Ini dia turun, aduh ke atap PBM ini. Lower PBM, Foxtrot. 61 Michael G. 78. Stand by.
Halo?
Halo.
Ini taksi bukan?
Iya.
Jemput saya dong.
Gimana jemputnya? Saya lagi di penjara.
Kamu dapat handphone dari mana penjara?
Ya, saya kan belum masuk di federal. Saya kan masih di sini di penjara MLPD.
Kena kasus kenapa kamu?
Biasa tadi habis main pistol air sama polisi di atas gunung.
Oh, jadi kamu yang nembakin tadi brengsek.
Iyalah. Kamu siapa?
Andra tahu.
Lain kali habis nelpon, pas mau nutup telepon kasih tahu babi, jangan asal nutup lu.
Lah, handphone gua ngatur lu.
Nomornya ada 7 senang sibuk.
Goblok. Taksinya lagi di penjara, nggak bisa dia.
Waduh, ini sebentar lagi selesai kok, sir. Sabar.
Ya udah, makanya dari tadi gua teleponin 2 orang gak ada ngangkat. Satunya di penjara pula.
Ini transmission.
Oh, gue mau nelfon Zea.
Radio cek. Radio cek.
Tentu.
Direct to Vince.
Send it.
Be advised, Michael G itu memakai jaket putih, celana hitam, dan memakai goggles, oke?
Copy.
Partner gue nih. Oh, Melvin Harris. Di situ juga.
Oke, saya finishing.
Dispatch to MRPD units.
Mantap.
Processing 95. Can you
Udah.
check the last 911
Udah.
call?
Bayar dah.
Ayo, Sir. Di sini ada tembok.
Di kasir kan?
145. Iya.
Wush. Boleh. Wush. Nice car,
Oke,
boy.
silakan dibayar, Sir. Oke.
Udah.
Oke, thank you so much,
Makasih ya.
Sir.
Pak lihat abang saya nggak?
Sheriff kan? Bukan. Oh, Ranger.
Yo.
Siapa ini? Ranger siapa ini? Halo. Woi. Ranger siapa ini?
Saya Andra, Pak. Kamu siapa?
Andra. Saya GP.
Siapa? GP.
Toyota Beta GP.
Oh, BT. Wih. Udah.
Dulu, Sir. Ditutup ininya, Sir. Yang ini, Sir. Belum ditutup nih.
Iya. Udah.
Coba silakan tes track, Sir. Nanti kalau ada kendala lagi bisa hubungin saya nih. Besok bertanggung jawab sampai Sir benar-benar puas.
Udah, makasih ya.
Oke, Sir. Thank you so much.
Bedanya kerasa nih. Udah.
Direct to Sergeant dulu.
Send it.
Ngapain Pak di sana Pak sendirian?
Saya lagi beli Walkman, kenapa?
10 far.
Don't get fucked up. I'm in a world of my own. Hey, man.
Betul, direct to dim.
Send it, sir.
You good? Anyway, direct to dim, kamu bisa bikin warannya ya. Michael G on the loose. Dia tembak ke saya tadi juga.
Halo.
Ya, halo, mau pesan apa?
Saya mau pesan, ada apa di sini?
Itu
ada ini ya. Bentar saya lihat dulu.
Lucu banget sih Bapak. Aduh.
Ocha, kopi. Oh, saya mau mesen. Apa kamu? Mukul saya.
Saya nggak ngeliat orang sih. Emang ada orang ya?
Saya orang.
Ya ada orang.
Mana? Di mana?
Saya. Oh, saya
ada yang
mesen
ngomong tapi nggak kelihatan orang.
Pesan apa?
Saya emang begini.
Hantu emang.
Bukan
Ya?
si Gimbal yang ngomong.
Bukan. Setan kayaknya.
Brengsek. Kalian ngeliat saya? Halo?
Loh, itu siapa yang ngomong?
Aduh.
Pesan apa?
Loh, itu siapa yang ngomong?
Bentar. Ini berberapa sih? Berlima.
Itu siapa yang ngomong?
Pesan apa?
Saya ini yang betulin baju.
Loh,
Yang pakai helm pesan apa?
ya, oh ya, saya mau beli ini dong.
Ya apa?
Saya yang mesen baju. Saya mesen duluan nih.
2 sama Ocha 2.
Hei.
Apa?
Crab cake 2 sama Ocha 2.
Saya duluan nih. Kalian lihat saya.
Saya antrean pertama kan ya, ibu sama bapak ini udah.
Oh, sudah kita.
Ya?
Silakan Pak duluan.
Saya crab cake 2 sama Ocha 2.
Oke, sebentar ya.
Iya.
Oh, berarti kalau gua bugil dia ngengat gua nih. Apa sih? F2 ya? Goblok. Halo? Lah, kagak lihat.
Emang ada orang ya?
Gue ngapa? Oh, salah deh. Mana lancar? Misi, halo? Apakah saya? Halo?
Emang ada orang?
Apa cuma ini bertiga?
Kok saya agak merinding ya?
Halo, saya di sini loh.
Ini roosternya ada hantunya atau gimana?
Ada banyak.
Enggak, tiba-tiba kayak ada bau-bau.
Dispatch 711 responding
monyet
last round
gitu
Bravo.
nggak sih?
Udah,
Nggak
saya
ada
nggak jadi beli.
Anjing mau monyet.
Saya sumpahin kamu, bangkrut.
7336. Sam traffic.
Jalan-jalan.
1123 at location yang
Mana lancar gue.
Yellow sedan Purus with
Gue mau
two
setting
occupants
grafik lagi nih.
Dispatch now on active 57.
60 pala lu.
From Laser 1B on left side circus now heading
60
westbound.
Di dalam bangunan.
1060 is blue and yellow Commode. Now heading to Burger Shot.
Keep up that.
Copy. Primary 50. Stand by.
Copy.
Woi.
No! No!
Alright, got visual again.
Orang lo itu.
Southbound Corporate District. Now turn left and suspect heading eastbound.
Mau setting dulu bentar ya. Gor.
Now on northbound.
Kata Evelyn, teksturnya diturunin.
Now turn
Nanti
right
gue bikin
into
high.
southbound for drive.
Kan gede. Darurat. Apa nabrak?
Suspect stopping.
Udah Gor, nih lu nggak lihat penuh gini. Missing itunya.
Suspect now on northbound. Kelly's A.
Nih. Tuh.
Still on
Teks terbudgetnya ya gue normal.
Now suspect turn left on the westbound Palace Avenue. Suspect turning right on the northbound Passwitch Boulevard. Now suspect turning right again, secondary minor 50 primary update.
Masya Allah.
Southbound Channels A.
Break. Direct dispatch need one more Adam unit or Lincoln for the 57 dan kita bisa pindah tank.
Copy 4 to all available units, we still need 78 for S57.
Ya sabar Gor. Bentar Gor, mau siapa dulu?
45 responding the last 57 and 20 for the 57.
Passwitch Boulevard.
Copy sir. Stand by. We are 76.
Okay, for all units for the 57, we can move to Tech 1.
Copy dispatch.
Hei, maaf. Sorry, halo. Ya, sorry ya, lupa. Sorry.
Kayaknya teman saya ini lagi itu Pak, lagi bengong Pak.
Oh, lagi bengong ya udah.
Iya.
Yaudah, hati-hati kalian.
Oke Pak.
Tuh kan gua nggak ngeliat juga anjing. Turunin Gor. Dia serem juga. Ini setengah jam. Segini lah. Kata Evelyn suruh penuhin anjing. Evelyn pakai apa? VGA-nya, RAM-nya juga berapa dia?
Radio check.
Tentu.
Dispatch to all unsigned units, please update your call sign.
Udah, kita setting dulu ya, biar enak mainnya ya Pak. Nah itu child drop bro. GPU bro. Bentar ya, kita setting lagi ya. CPU gua emang 100. Ini kita jadi high. Ini kecilin. Ini segini lah. Header high, ini high.
Be advised to all units still haven't updated your call sign. Please update your call sign. Thank you.
Pakai settingan GPU plus coba. Gimana tuh Gor? Gak ngerti gua. Emang disuruh ganti itu Gor, disuruh ganti apa namanya? Prosesor. Udah, gak bisa ngapa-ngapain. Makanya gue streaming begini mager. Ganti prosesor, terus ganti mobo. Tuh udah nyaman dah. Cuma gue mesti kerja dulu nih, baru beli. Iya, minta diganti prosesor gua. Makanya enakan gas streaming. Kenapa? CPU-nya nggak kemakan di OBS gitu Gor. Cuma kalau gua nggak streaming, nanti nggak dapat momen. Nanti YouTube gua mati. Monetize-nya. Sayang gitu. Biarpun offline masih ada yang nonton kan. 100-200 kan lumayan masuk. Itu Gor. 100-200 viewer maksud gua. Menurut 100-200 ribu. Pokoknya gua ganti prosesor, ganti mobo, udah itu doang. Paling penting. Soalnya mobo juga ngaruh buat render segala macem. Iya lumayan. Biarpun gak seberapa ya kan. YouTube kan katai. Benar tuh sekarang udah kerja lah. Kerja kontrak. Ojek aja susah sekarang. Tuh. Soalnya CPU gua satu. Nah, ini gua berarti harus lepas NVA nih. Sama nggak streaming. Kalau mau pakai NVA nggak streaming. Udah Gor, gua off streamingnya lah. Gua mau nyobain ganti-ganti ini. Nggak enak kalau nonton DC. Thank you Gor ya. Lu cepet-cepet main balik lagi Gor. Oke. Gua mau nyeting dulu. Thank you Gor. Biarpun lu doang yang nonton.